What's good? Welcome to First String Podcast. On today's episode of First String Podcast, we have Tennessee running back Julius Chestnut joining us. We also have Adam from the Burgundy and Gold Report checking in with us as well. We got a packed show. The crew is all here. I hope y'all ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
First String Podcast. Yeah. Q Danny. Dre on the beat. You know. Yeah. What's your favorite squad? Tell me who you going with. First String Podcast. Yeah, we keep it lit. We got the latest updates. We don't pump fake. Like, comment, share. We don't care. Feel free to hate. We got great guests join us. You should chime in. Houdini on the intro for the time being. Lady A, representing Washington. Pick Washington, everything Washington. Mo coming out of Dallas, you know the business. Said, them Georgia Bulldogs ain't quitting. Yeah, if you ain't watching sports, you ain't living. About to get my mattress Mac on, about to bet $1 million, bet $1 million. Let's talk about it. We all grown and cool, we can talk about it. Before we hit the news, we gon' talk about it. Oh, you wanna bet? Let's pop a bottle bout it.
Back to First String Podcast. I am your host, Toothpick. Do not forget to like and subscribe to First String Podcast. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. And the most important part is that you tell a friend to tell a friend about First String Podcast. Listen, like I said, the gang's all here. Let's bring them in. Say it. How you doing, man? Of course. You ready to go?
Hey,
ready
SEC Media Days. SEC Media Days, we doing our thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, we saw what Coach 30 did at SEC Media Day. That boy's a fool.
The boys are the same.
He's the fool. He's a fool. Let's see if HR is ready to go. HR, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm taking note of what Sid just did. It looked like he was about to backhand someone. I'm not sure. Don't want to make any assumptions. So we'll see.
Well, Sid, looks like you got to report to HR in the morning.
Look at Sid.
You got to report to HR first thing in the morning. All right, listen. So last time, Ant, how was your birthday, man?
See, here you go. Pick.
How was your birthday, Ant? That's all I said.
Birthday was good, man. You know, California. What they be saying? California don't owe me nothing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They don't say that about Cali, but that's okay.
No. California do owe me $50 for a very overpriced burger that really pissed me off. I'm still mad about it.
$50 burger, yeah. I get
that burger for 2 meals. Yeah, I'm upset.
I understand.
But no, it was good, man. It was good. It's good to be back though, ready to get to work.
All right, cool. Off a long vacation from,
everybody was kung fu fighting.
You just come back looking like the Karate Kid.
Everybody was a little bit frightening.
Hey, I said it's SEC Media Days. Get your mind right.
Let's get set.
Right, Al.
Right here in the DFW.
Oh my goodness, man! Thanks for a long vacation, as you're right, man. I've missed you all. Been champing, of course, been watching the show from afar. And Dominican, Mexico, everything, man. Good to see y'all. Y'all have done a wonderful job, man. Just good to see y'all again. And I'm glad Ann had a good birthday. And but I won't be trying that $50 fat burger, whatever he got. He can have that.
Yeah, you can. Listen, speaking of vacations, here's is coming to an end. PG owned Julius Chestnut will be reporting to Tennessee Titans training camp. So how are you?
I'm doing well.
All right, vacay over.
Vacay's over, huh?
Time to go now.
Yeah, we're gonna get into what it takes to prepare for that in a little bit. Okay, let's bring in Adam from the Burgundy and Gold Report. Happy birthday, Adam. How are you?
Happy birthday, Adam.
Happy birthday, Adam.
Happy birthday, Adam.
Joining us on your birthday,
my guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, we're glad you're here. The Commander's about to get into camp as well. So, we'll talk to you about that, and we'll see what you're thinking about this Tennessee Commanders matchup later on in the season.
Mhm.
All right. Let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. This is going to be quick because we got to get into it. We're 5 minutes in. Bruce Glass is in the
Yes.
building first, as
Hey,
always.
Bruce.
Dump Truck Don is in the building. He supplied
Hey,
us with the question of the month. Mike Young is here.
Hey,
John has arrived. He said
Yes.
he's here. Our guy Droop is in the building.
Hey,
And
Droopy.
everybody speaking to everybody in the chat. That's what it looks like. My running back is back. My running back is back.
Okay.
Yeah, not total. Wait. John said something here. He says, I'm not trying to start anything, but I noticed that the show started on time with Ant when Ant was gone.
The shade.
Ant, would you like to reply?
I don't run the show, so John, you're cap, and I disagree.
Okay.
That's only right.
All right, well, let's get right into this question of the month. We're going to start off with questions that need to be answered. All right, so Ant, Al, you guys all have to answer this question as well, but for today, we're just going to go with our guests. We're going to start off with Julius here. The question is, name 4 different athletes you wish you could have seen in their prime. All right, now, caveat is if you name 2 people from the same sport, the next 2 cannot be from the same sport. We're trying to get you to think outside the box.
All right. First, I gotta go with, of course, prime time. I was a little too young for that one. Barry Sanders.
Wow.
Okay.
Mike Tyson
All right.
and Michael Jordan.
You was too young for Mike?
What?
Yeah.
He's only 22. Or
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, you seen none of that. Oh man, yeah, you seen none of that for real. That's a good list. That's a good list. I understand Barry Sanders. I understand that part too because that's the position you play. So I get it. I get it. All right. Mike Tyson, man, ooh, that's good. Mike was knocking people out, so you probably wouldn't have missed much because he was hitting them out in like 30 seconds.
You just making us mad.
That's all I need to see.
People were paying pay-per-view for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's the first Mike Tyson one that we had this month too. So
yeah.
All right, Adam, let's hit this, Adam.
So we said 4, and none of them can't be from the same sports. 4 different sports, or
only 2 can be from the same sport.
All right. First one's easy for me, Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
I think it's a little trickier. Will Chamberlain.
Nice.
I like the Conan movies, and I like basketball, so like seeing that'd be like 2 and 1 right there. Jim Brown.
Yep.
So I was trying to make it a 4th sport so I can like, I don't know. Even though I was alive, but I was real young, I'll say Joe Theismann.
Joe Theismann. Okay. All right. That's nice. That's a nice list. That's a nice list as well. Muhammad Ali's been on a couple of people's lists as well. Joe Theismann, that's the first list that he's made. Yeah. So we got that out the way.
I'm sorry, I meant Sonny Jurgensen, not Theismann. I was old enough for Theismann. Jurgensen, sorry.
Sonny Jurgensen.
Jurgensen was an announcer when I was coming out.
Sonny.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, hey, let's get into it, man. Training camp's coming up for
Hey, Pick,
all of
do you mind if I go?
No, we're gonna get yours and Al's on Saturday.
Bruh, you just get this out the way.
You got your list ready?
Yes.
Hey, all right, let's go.
Do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him live. Then I gotta go with Gretzky. I never seen Gretzky. You know what I'm saying? Numbers are crazy. Then I gotta go with. I actually didn't see Bo Jackson play, so I would have loved to seen Bo in baseball. It don't matter, hacky sack. And definitely Michael Jordan would be the last on the list. Definitely would have loved because I was young, but I didn't get to have the full effect. I wish I could have seen 85 Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like I know there was something special. So yeah.
I had Pele too. Hey guys.
And do you have yours? I'm sorry, not Al. Do you have yours?
I do. Muhammad Ali, of course. I think that goes with everybody. I was trying to think of someone different. Actually, one guy who just passed, man, Willie Mays. I would have loved to see Willie Mays play in person. Gail Sayers in his prime, pre knee injury. I guess I got another one from the same. Okay, this more so for how you party off the field and played on the field. Babe Ruth. I mean, who don't want to see the Babe, man? You know, like I said, we got the modern day Babe with Shohei Ohtani, but I heard Babe he did more off the field than he did on the field, from what the stories would tell. But that would be my 4 right there. So keep it simple.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So Don, everybody's answered the question. The question of the month is still going. We got some great guests for the rest of this month as well. So we will get theirs as well. Training camps are right around. NFL training camps are right around the corner. Here we go. Julius Chestnut. Julius, the vacation's over. First things first. Let's figure out from the time that you guys have your last OTAs, your mandatories, and all of that, and you get that 6-7 week break, and you still got to stay in shape. What is that like?
Working. it ain't really a break for real. You know, some people take their vacations for a couple of days, but you know, you still working every day. I get my 2 workouts a day, and it's a job. You still got to go to work every day. Got to stay in shape, get ready for camp.
Okay, say it.
Yeah, I knew that a lot of you guys stay in shape always, because when you looking to talk about camp, there's very few people when they do the little physical test that they're out of shape. I mean, there are some people not all. Are you looking forward to the competition in the running back room?
Absolutely. You know, it's going to be a little bit different now that Derek's gone, so it's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more competition, and shoot, that's all I'm built for is competing. You know, I've been an underdog my whole life, so it's been compete, and earn my spot. So you know, it's time to work.
Okay, Lady A.
You spoke on getting ready for training camp. As far as the physical aspect of it, mentally, do you see a shift at this time, you know, for yourself and your teammates? Is there like a mental shift in preparation?
You're obviously going to have a little bit of a setback just because you're not in the film room every day like you normally are. So you got a lot more free time, but it's what you do in your free time. And, you know, I still study my plays. I still go over things like that, but it's still going to be different because you're not with the coaches. You're not in the environment of learning. So you have a little bit of a setback, but it's how you control it. So your note taking during OTAs and all that stuff will help you prepare for when you in this off season. So yeah.
Ant, get in there.
So does it feel like I understand that it's a step up in competition, comprehension, and all of that, you know, coming from Sacred Heart, but does it feel like, are you starting to get that feel of, all right, I know what I'm doing, you know, I have an opportunity to make a real impact here?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because I'm going to year 3 now, so it's like I done been through it twice already. So I've adjusted a little bit better. You know, I've developed a routine. I know who to look at veteran wise, and it's just the mental part of off the field helps me when I'm playing. So everything off the field, it just helps me build to where I prepared and I'm ready to go.
Hold on. And one more thing. So after you guys are released to go enjoy your pseudo's vacation, how soon do you know, hey, this is when you got to report back? And I have a reason for asking this.
Oh, we know report date back when in OTAs. Yeah, we they tell us in OTAs, like us, it's the 23rd. So they done been told us, they said, our report date back on Tuesday the 23rd. Conditioning test is this. Be ready to go.
So Aaron Rodgers was just doing whatever the heck he wanted to do. That's what you're basically telling me.
He Aaron Rodgers.
He Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so in an instance like that, though, is that really what? Because even if you're talking about I don't know who the next most important. So if we talk about Gary Wilson, right? And I know you can't speak for another man or especially a different position even, but is it okay though? Is something like that where it's kind of just like, well, that's Aaron Rodgers, he could do what he wants, or is this one of those things where it's like, listen, you are hurt. We need to still build as much camaraderie and chemistry, leadership I'm expecting from you. What is the thought process of a player when something like that takes place?
And have great questions.
See, I personally can't because I don't know what's going on in their building, you know. So that's the Jets building. I don't know how their chemistry is, but at the end of the day, it's still Aaron Rodgers. Like you know, like I don't know. Like he probably older than half of the coaching staff, and he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot. You know who is to tell Aaron Rodgers, yo, you need to be here? Like
he is the coach.
You just was at the Baptist church. You saw Sister Manel to fall out and they pulled that cloak out and just covered it on. Just covered up. We don't want to see them undergarments. That's fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Al.
Well, kind of piggyback what you even said, Jay. You entering year 3. You know what it takes to the physical fitness level. You got a good grasp. I know how hard you work. I see it every day. And like I said, I know the tour days. What specifically have you noticed in coming into year 3? Are you working on now that you know is something to make your game better and put you where you know you need to be, where you might not have been in year 1 or 2, in regards whether it's your cutting, whether it's your catching, whether it's like I said, you play, you're mentally ready because you're studying your plays. What are you working on specifically physically to fine tune right now in your training to kind of just, you know, you're finishing off the final touches. What are you doing?
First speed, because speed is always going to be a factor in the NFL. Can you run down on kickoff? Can you run down on punt? And can you run the ball? Can you get away from somebody? So speed, definitely. Cutting, your ability to cut, reaction skills is definitely crazy for a running back. You need to be able to develop those things, and catching the football out of the backfield is what's going to separate me from people is, can I catch out of the backfield? So,
and being that you're one of the bigger backs now, like I said, left it. I know, like I said, the guys that's left. I've got the young kid from Tulane, forgot his name, and Tajay, yes. You're a bigger guy, and I know Callahan's system, like I said, definitely relies with having Joe Mixon, a bigger back that can do a lot of things. That's why I know that. How ready are you for that challenge and getting into that, knowing that you bring something to the table, speed, agility, and size that some of the other guys in there don't have?
You know, most definitely. I'm prepared. That's what I do. So
yes,
ready to go. Like it's my time now. Like before, you know, we had that running pound and ground game, and it's a different system now. So, and this is what I'm kind of used to, college wise, high school wise. You know, it's a whole new system, and it's me.
Let me get one more quick question.
Hold on, let Adam get in there first. I got you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Adam. My bad. Go ahead, Adam.
No, in fact, we posted at the same time. Tajay Spears is a guy I spent a ton of time prior to the draft. He's one of my favorite backs coming out. So you're saying with the system, will there be like an opportunity, like you said, for you guys to maybe, you know, share carries in the backfield? Like, have you guys? I know it's a little early on, but like a lot of teams are implementing like more dual back sets. Like you guys kind of complement each other, you know.
So it's us two and Tony Pollard. So
I know I'm from get Pollard, man.
So
it's a big one.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm not really sure how they're gonna use this, but I'm sure they got some dual back stuff set stone.
Because I can see Pollard definitely flexing out more, like definitely like coming from that Memphis system. You know, all those guys, you know, ran receiver routes more. So I see him more even, you know, he can play both roles, but I see you guys pigeonholed as that backfield role. But it's going to be exciting to see what you guys do over there.
Yeah.
Okay, say it.
Okay, real quick question. After watching the Netflix show Receiver, Amon Ra St. Brown said something that is still, I still think of now, is that he keeps a list of all the wide receivers that were drafted before him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you as being undrafted, do you still have a small chip on your shoulder because you thought you should have been taken in a different position instead of being an undrafted free agent?
Yes, but no. You know, obviously you're gonna have that I should have been drafted mentality, but control what you can control. You know, it's people that been drafted that didn't even make a roster. You know, so it's not how you get there, it's how long you stay there. So it's control what you can control, and I ain't worried about nobody else. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is.
Got a question for you here. So you just said your catching out the backfield is improving and things like that. So for running backs, let's say ball security and third down protection is how you get on the field. So play comes in and you're supposed to get out into your route, and then all of a sudden the quarterback makes a check and puts you into protection mode. What goes through your head at that moment? You know,
It's you locked in. So it's all right, who I got, who I'm scanning to, what my responsibilities are is just protect this guy that's worth millions of dollars. That's all it is. So I'm coming on the field, not getting back in. That's really all it is. I ain't even worried about me getting the ball no more. All that stuff is out the window from now on. So just protect the guy with the ball.
all right, Lady A.
I have a question. What do you say to those that, and then also, how do you feel personally that feel that running backs are just kind of becoming a thing of the past?
Thank you, Lady A.
Literally, it's been a topic for the last couple of years, and we've become devalued because of how much of a passing game the game of football has become. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who can run the ball. So if you run the ball more in a game, you obviously going to win. And you can see that with us in the past couple of years. At the end of the games, we're ending up having to throw the ball the whole time. So we're obviously going to lose. And if you can run the ball, if you can run the ball successfully, you're going to win games. And once it's going to start rolling again. It's just history going to repeat itself.
It's inevitable. You're 100%.
It's not really a worry right now because you know it's going to happen. Defenses are going to adjust to the passing game. It's going to be different coverages, and then what they're going to rely on, can you run the ball?
Yep.
So, and running backs protection wise, if he mess up in the protection, you blame it on him. And can this guy get the first down catching the football out of the backfield? You know, so it's running backs, they devalue, but we're so special. It's just gonna be, they're gonna have to respect us.
Well, y'all do play all facets of it, and when it comes to the offense, you tote the mail, you protect the quarterback, right? You check your check downs for quarterbacks as well. You know, they say a tight end is a quarterback's best friend, but literally that check down is where Kirk Cousins made all his money, right? Say it. Never mind, Ant, it's your go.
You're so petty.
I mean, dude, when I know, like, it being a wide open room, you know, you got guys who have a little more experience, you know, guys like Pollard who, you know, with a guy last year and now, you know, is coming to a new situation closer to home, whatever. Do you see how do you find the healthy balance between competition and this is my team? Because, you know, as much as you want to see the overall good of the team be successable, you also want your opportunity to be on the front lines and show how good you are, you know, and get your payday and get, you know, get whatever, live the dreams that you've had as a kid, not just to make it, but to make impactful plays and, you know, be somebody of prominence. So how do you find that balance?
Absolutely. It's like you just said, how do you control being a friend and you competing for a job? That's basically what it is. And I take it personally if people treat me a different way just because they're competing for a job. But it's like, okay, we both here competing for a job. You know what I'm saying? So it's I help you, no problem. Like, I can help you on the field, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna take my opportunities that I get and I'm gonna run with it. That's what, the more opportunities you get is because you're taking advantage of them opportunities that you've been getting. So if you get one, you make a 50-yard run, you probably gonna get another one. So it's the opportunities that you get, you just gotta take advantage of them. So I I don't treat nobody differently because of I'm competing for a job. I'm just do me. You know what I'm saying? If it don't work out there, it don't work out there. I'm sure somebody else will find me. You know,
The film.
it is what it is. You know, I just gotta take advantage of your opportunities.
All right, Al.
Well, Jay, the next question, my question is something that how much are you looking forward to getting some of them guys out the box? Because I know for the last few years, wide receiver hasn't been your strong suit. But this year, you all have made major moves in the wide receiver room with Boyd, Ridley,
D-Hop.
and you still got D-Hop there.
Mhm.
How excited for you is watching those guys in OTAs and everything and seeing how wide open, even with a new offense with Callahan. Are you seeing the difference from the previous regime in regards to the plays and the schemes that you're probably going to see with having a more experienced and dynamic wide receiver crew on the outside?
Absolutely, because the defense gotta respect it. They got to. So it's going to be a lot different because of we're not going to be in 13 personnel as much. We're not going to be in 12 personnel as much. So defense is not going to come out with 4 linebackers on the field,
Right.
or they're not going to come out and just play nickel. They're going to have to come out and play dime because of how many weapons we got. You know, so
right.
they take that and we're going to run with it. You know, so. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be
how
a
good.
lot.
How good is it? How good is it feeling looking from the OTAs? Have y'all been like? Are they talking big trash out there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be crazy. We got some.
I got y'all as my sleeper.
Yeah.
I got y'all. If Levis, and please do something real big to that burgundy and gold team when y'all see him. But that's a whole other subject.
No. See, Al, that's why you about to go back on vacation. Al about to be lost.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not what you're here for.
I'm sorry, lady. I'm here. I just want this young guy right here to do big things. I'm expecting big things out of him, and especially when he come to them the Washington. So I ain't gonna say the disrespectful term because we got a good guy here. So the burgundy and gold.
Oh, just because Adam's here.
That's not what you're here for. It's crazy work.
Adam. Oh, here he comes. Adam's back. Yeah. So let's get Adam back in here real quick. And Adam, we're coming to you for a question.
As far as the upcoming year, like you said, you've got a bunch of guys in the backfield. What is it that is making you feel like, I don't know if I heard you right or wrong, but like feeling like more like college, like an offense? Like what makes you feel like that compared to what other things you've run?
So before we had Derrick Henry,
right,
and that's an offense where you want to get him the ball. So, now that we got 3 very good receivers as our 1 through 3, and running backs that can do it all. It's a wider playing field, so it's not just can you block off the box and let them one-on-ones outside happen, and it's going to be totally different than what you've seen before, I think. And Coach Callahan and his father they've been scheming up some stuff. So yeah, I think it's going to be a lot different.
Yeah, Coach Cal is amazing. Okay, last question from me, and then we got a great question here from Metaphor that I'm gonna ask you in a second. So my question for you is it's training camp. It wears on you, your body, and things like that. Which drill do you most not look forward to performing?
Individual in general with just my running back coach can be a little bit tiring, because what I'm coming, because this is where a lot of people don't understand as a younger back that's not solidified. You go from special teams to individual to straight to team on most practices. So you're constantly going, as in the running backs that's not on special teams, they're doing individual, but it's not really individual till the other running backs get there. So it's you get time to relax and you go to team and you're not doing special teams. And I'm coming from special teams doing 10 sprints in a row, straight to bag drills, straight to cone drills, straight to team, and it's so that can get you individual, and then that heat gonna play a factor for sure.
Oh, that heat does definitely play a factor. That heat does definitely play a factor. Yeah, 102 right down here in Texas for sure.
It was 103 here.
103, 104. Yeah.
Metaphor's question is whether the your new regime is adapting or got y'all learning a scheme, or are they adapting to what the players' strengths are? So how do you feel about that question?
I'm sure there's methods to the players' strengths, but at the end of the day, it's Coach Callahan's offense. It's what he runs, what he's comfortable with, and how he knows how to defeat defenses. So that's really it.
All right. Okay. All right. So Adam, you're up, man. It's time to get to this burgundy and gold. We got a rookies reporting tomorrow, right? First thing we need to know is, and I'm gonna do this right now before Said even get a shot at it. I'm just gonna throw that up there right there because he's gonna ask about one of these players from Georgia real soon. Which rookies should we absolutely look out for other than Jaden Daniels coming up this year?
So this was a good draft for me. I got 3. Jaden Daniels was one I wrote about, but then Mike Sandstrel, cornerback from Michigan, and then also my favorite pick, which was Ben Sinnott, tight end from Kansas State. I think I even was on your show maybe prior to draft. We were talking about him. So those are my, those are the given. I think those are the ones that I think are going to have major impacts. But I've also written about some undrafted guys. One guy that stood out from the rest right now is this kid from Colorado State, Chigozie Anuzium. I just like his game. You talk about can play man, can play zone. So he's a multifaceted. And from what I'm hearing, they want to mix it up a little more. It's not going to be just like a standard man or zone kind of scheme. So he's someone I think definitely watch out for because, hearing the veteran Davis they signed, they expect big things, but that's a veteran guy that's kind of bounced around. Then you have Forbes who, still wait and see. And then, St. Juice and, the rest. So I think it's kind of wide open right now for a guy like Anuzium to come in and, just like kind of surprise in camp. The other guy, I'm actually writing about him right now. I just wrapped up his film is Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint, that wide receiver from Georgia. Man, I just don't think they have enough depth to say a guy like him is not going to challenge for a roster spot because after you get past McLaurin and Dotson, I think it's wide open. I think De'Ami Brown, he's probably on his last shot this camp to really impress because I think it's either, find a spot or, they'll just move on from him because he's not giving you anything on special teams. Unlike the other guys, a lot of the other guys are offering that. So this Georgia kid, I really like what I saw on tape, just not a whole lot of, reps out there. He got some decent opportunities, but just not a whole lot of reps that, you want to see coming out. Thus, he was undrafted, some nagging injuries kind of were like a setback, but, still that last year at Georgia, I think he stayed, if it was another year, you could be talking about, a day 3, maybe even late 2 guy. Because he's got the skill. It's that time speed that's scaring a lot of people. They're still saying it's in that nothing's kind of official NFL yet because nothing was done at the combine. Word is around that 4.6 range. So that's going to turn teams off. He's not a 6'6" guy, it's just under 6. What do I have him at here? He's 6'1", 195. So decent size, but he's running that 4.6. So I think he's going to have to shine when it comes to route running. I've seen some improvement just from, from one year to the next at Georgia. So I think that's a big ask for him to do early on. But regardless, I think worst case scenario is on the practice squad. But I think, they had a good class. I think a lot of people are worrying about the offensive line. That's my biggest concern because the left tackle, you've got Coleman, which, a lot of people were saying if he was so good, how come, he didn't play left tackle, all 2 or 3 years. It was out of necessity. He was the most trusted offensive lineman. He had a full year, 2022. I watched where he played left tackle, solid year. Then he moved inside the guard based out of necessity. The following year had a really good year too. So I think that, a lot of Washington fans are hesitant when we hear the word, position flexibility. We think of what Ron Rivera always said.
Oh my God.
But this is a guy that, worst case scenario, you're talking about, not talking about a first, second rounder. This guy inevitably is going to have a spot on your team somewhere, but will he be able to lock up that left tackle spot? I don't know. I think right now, the way it's looking, Cornelius Griffin, I think a lot of people are scared for him to start the year, but I think, they could definitely do a lot worse. So I think that, going into camp, what offensive linemen are going to shine and step up right now? That's the biggest mystery of all the positions going into camp. So, Sandstrill, I think he's gonna seize even though he's a nickel, he'll be playing 75+% of the reps early on. I think they'll even try him sometimes in deep safety, in sub packages, because right now it's looking like Quan Martin free safety, and Jeremy Chin, it may be forced rotating out. I don't know what they're gonna do at that strong safety spot, but there's just a lot of spots
talent
wide open on this team right now.
Okay, Sid, get in there.
Back to Rosemary Jackson, my boy, one of my guys. He did break his leg in his first year catching the touchdown.
Yep.
And that's what's kind of put him behind.
Definitely.
And what people don't realize, it's not really a question. More of us talking about the system. What people don't realize is he's on a team with abundance of 5 stars. So everybody's feeding, everybody's touching the ball. If you come into the University of Georgia, you're not going to have amazing stats. Very few people are going to have amazing stats except for the quarterback. What do you see? Enough about him, right quick. What do you see with the defensive line? Who do you see solidifying himself to stay put or to make a jump for this year? Because remember, y'all got rid of the two. You guys got rid of the 2 defensive ends last year.
Right. I think the biggest name, because again, they didn't give him the 5th-year option, is Jamin Davis. I think that they haven't figured out where he is. And the idea is this is a last chance. He's going to be a situational pass rusher. If he can come in, athletically, speed-wise, length, he complements what Armstrong has on the other side. I think they're banking a lot on that working. They're going to have a rotation with him and Fowler. But to me, along the defensive line, other than Payne, I think he's a guy that really takes a big jump this year. But I think Jamin Davis, I think that if he can put it all together, he could be a really good pass rusher for this team. But they're going to need someone on the defensive line to really break out for this defense to protect that defensive backfield, because it's a work in progress. But what gives me hope is Witt Jr., because I saw what he did in Dallas, seeing what he done in his career, and he's a coach. He knows how to mold men. He knows how to teach. So I have a lot of faith in him going into, but that defensive line, they're going to need, guys other than, Payne and Allen, because I think we saw, again, especially Atlanta, I think when they played them, they showed what you can do to neutralize those defensive tackles with double, triple teams. So we're going to need somebody to step up on the outside. I think Davis has a really good shot to be that guy.
Lady A.
Okay, so look, I think that this new coaching staff has spoken to the last coaching staff, because they won't let me in OTAs. Okay, they did not let me in OTAs this year, so I have to rely on others. I might have acted up a little bit before. So
No, Mike.
Hey, we're not go that far into it, but I have a question. Out of all the people that obviously everyone that we have right now, we can't keep. So, the start of the season, somebody is going to be gone. Is there anyone in particular that you're like, yeah, they're probably not going to make it, based off of what we are assuming about the scheme that they're going to play? Is there someone that seems a little off as far as everyone, one that is not like the others?
Right. Like, I guess just to come up with not a big name, but a name that might surprise some is, Kaliki Hudson. I really like him, and I think that he fits a lot, but I think you see what Jeremy Chin can do. It's taking what Hudson, what coaches have hoped Hudson could be. He just really hasn't developed into that guy. after playing that Viper role for the Wolverines. So I think that that's going to be a guy that you can see, because that linebacker room is going from an extreme weakness to, I think, a strength right now with, as far as, veteran leadership with Wagner, a guy like Frankie Louvu. I think that's going to be, in the end, their biggest free agent signing. I think he's going to make the biggest impact. So that linebacker room is going to look totally different. And yeah, I definitely think a guy like Hudson, you could see him as an odd man out.
You see, people keep hacking my account, and they keep trying to pretend that I don't speak the Queen's English, because I just don't understand. What was that about? And I did not say anything about De'Ami Brown.
It didn't look that way to us. Julius, I didn't know if you wanted to stay, or if you want to, go. But we really enjoy having you, and we look forward to you coming back to PG County to play at FedEx Field, or whatever the stadium name is going to be.
Beat him up, Julius. Beat him up, Julius.
No, I want you to do well. But I do really want you to leave with an L.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
That sounds like a challenge.
I appreciate y'all for sure.
No, we appreciate you.
We will be following your newspaper clippings and everything like that. So when you go to camp, man, do big things. We really do appreciate you. And I know your season's gonna be busy and things like that. But during y'all's bye week, if you want to stop by and shoot a word to us, we really would appreciate that, man. For real. Mm-hmm. We are wishing you nothing but the best of luck here. We got love. PG County's in the house for sure.
Yeah.
What week is that again, Pete? When y'all come to Fed Up Field? When y'all come again?
December 1st, I think. Or December 1st or November 1st. One of those.
Hey, see, that's why
Commanders Field, Alvin.
That's why he get nothing but coal in his stockings.
I'm just saying. I'm just going by what they call it here, man.
A burnt turkey for November and coal in your stockings in December. Thank you, Julius, man. We appreciate you, brother. All right.
Take care, Jay.
Have a good one. Good luck.
Get to work, big guy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And you're up, Ant.
Man.
Not one Jaden Daniels question yet. I'm shocked.
Oh, they coming.
I don't have any for that because I don't. Whatever. No, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. I'm torn because there's been so much change and upheaval over the last couple years. I could ask you things about the roster. We could make assumptions about, who's going to do what. But there's just always been such a false level of hope and security over the last couple of years for whatever reason, whether, it's certain individuals that come on the show and say they love the draft that they did last year, or if it's people who can be real. It's just like, where do we go from here? Is it just more of a wait and see thing right now? Or is there some stake that you could drive in the ground where you could say, I don't care what happens, this team is going to be 2 games better? Like, what is the mindset, given what you know about the draft, what you already know about this roster? What do you see this actually looking like?
I believe it or not, I think the offense is going to progress faster than the defense will. I think they'll get it together, but I really think, all the talk of Mariota potentially start week 1 is just all smoke. I think everyone has said once they've seen Jaden on the field, the common denominator, what everyone says, is he just gets it. It's not he looks fast, he's throwing the ball hard. He just gets it. Like he digressed in the playbook, everything. So I think when you put him out there, and again, I'll be on the hype train until he puts me down. And you finally got a tight end. It's been since Chris Cooley is the last time this team had a true all-around functioning tight end like a guy like Ben Sinnott. I think when you get him and you can get McLaurin, and I think Dotson really breaks out this year. I really got big into Madden, all of a sudden a lot of free time this summer. And, Jahan Dotson, I just think that kid is waiting to break out. A lot of people have given up on him, but I think, once they get it all together, it can look good. But again, it's going to be that offensive line. It's going to be, can they get it together? But that's where I have, some faith, not in Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach, but as a play caller and a molder. And I think that there's going to be a lot of quick hitches. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to take advantage of what Daniels does. It's going to be very reminiscent of 2012. And I'm not just saying that because RG3 likes to compare himself to Daniels. I just see it. I see, the run game, the pass game, everything getting married together. I think it's going to be very similar to the feeling in 2012, just a lot more aerial attack going on.
I just wish he would not compare himself to
I hate it. I know. I hate it.
So Don had a question here before we come to you, Al. Any school, who's going to be our kicker? Adam,
he got a drink on that one.
My prediction: whoever starts the season won't be the final kicker. I'm gonna say they're gonna go have at least 2 kickers this year. So I think right now their starting kicker bench by week 17 is not on the roster yet.
All right, Al, you're up.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be real with you, and I hope that Adam will do the same, as I'm sure he will.
Always.
I see real success with you all next year is about 5 or 6 games, but at least you find your quarterback and you find consistency moving forward with your quarterback. Now, I've been told I'm a hater, I'm a lot of other things, but I think that's more important for you all than trying to repeat an RG3 season of where you have the rookie of the year, you win 10, 11 games, whatever it may be. If you win 5 or 6 games, build a mindset, build a team thing, but you don't know that you at least got the quarterback right. That would be success for me, for you all. Do you agree with that, or what do you call success?
Yeah, I say it's going to be less about the number of wins and again how they go about it. I think that exactly this team has not had. RG3 happened and then boom, we got to the playoffs, and I think most fans knew deep down they got that feeling. Especially the old schoolers that remember the Joe Theismann injury and, other injuries along the way, that this was not going to be good. So if you can get through this season, he looks good. And, he wasn't the reason they, didn't win 8-9. Yeah, I have them around that 7-8 game floating around there. I think the offensive line is the only thing that could bring them to that 4 or 5 games. But I think if you have a quarterback like him that really shows the ability to move the ball, something that they haven't had is consistency, and to get through week 1 through the whole year, that's success for me. As long as, even a ton of interceptions, that's not what's going to be, killing me. Because, we've seen it with Peyton Manning. It's more about, does he take abuse? And it's going to be the same old question. Can he protect himself? Can he get down? Unlike RG3, the kid knows how to slide. It's just never on the highlights, but there's plenty of highlights where he's sliding. So we're going out of bounds. So again, it's all going to be about answering that question. Can he take care of himself? Can he preserve himself? Can he be a playmaker as a dual threat? But, I'm, as much as I like, the athlete in him, I think his arm is extremely underrated. Not with everyone, a lot of people, the local media, but a lot of the national people I speak to, they like him. They say he's good, but I don't think that they're really giving him the credit of the arm. I think they're looking at the kid that went to New England from the Tar Heels. And again, I liked him too, but I see a lot more flaws in there. So I think with Daniels, that extra time in college, you don't see that too often with a number 1 overall pick, let alone, a top 3 quarterback to have this much experience. Usually it's the later round undrafted guy. So this is a little bit different than I think we've seen before, even though they're trying to lump it into, black quarterback, dual threat, RG3, Washington. To me, it's really different. I've been saying, I've said it before, a lot of guys saying, I see so much Randall Cunningham in him, but I see the Randall Cunningham in Minnesota, where he evolved as a passer, and he just got to that point where he just got too old and he couldn't do any more Randall. He lost a lot of that. But with Daniels, you have all that combined. If you have the old Randall, new Randall in Minnesota together, that's what I see with him. But again, it's all like, how are they going to open it up for him? How are they going to scheme things? And, he called a lot of plays at LSU. From what I understand, he called a lot of audibles, and he's going to get that privilege in Washington. They haven't let their quarterbacks do that for a long time.
Right.
Okay. So hold on. I got you. Adam, my question is, we're saying, and Lady A likes to go, and you've been alluding to it this whole time with the offensive line. Okay. We did not really address the tackle position, right? We have a swing tackle and we have a tackle that played. Do you see us, reaching out to another team, maybe trading a asset or two here to bring in a solid tackle to help this offensive line?
I wish that was, and I was going to write articles about it. I just scoured. I went through every team, seen practice squad, seen guys. Anyway, there's nobody that a team is having contract issues with, and that's the only kind of superstar you're going to get is someone that's having contract disputes. Everyone else is north of 35, 36, multiple injuries, injury prone. It's just not out there. I think finding a quarterback these days is becoming easier than it is to find a solid left tackle, solid right tackle that can be on your team all pro for 10 plus years. It's becoming harder and harder. And to be able to trade for them, you just kind of hope, something you get lucky. But I don't see that happening this year.
So-
and I think they're going to see after this year, it's got to be all in for the top one in free agency next year, or the top one in the draft next year, because you got.
So that was my following question is right now. Our wide receiver room, like you said earlier, is not the greatest wide receiver room. So I figure, first round next year is either going to be a tackle or a playmaker.
Yeah.
Right. But we waited this year to get a tackle, and it hurt us. So
right.
You got to literally go.
And they didn't reach. And the thing is, I reached out to anybody I knew, why didn't they trade up? Why didn't they trade up when there was a couple guys still available? Because they didn't want to reach. They had a couple guys that they really loved, that they really were willing to trade up with, but teams were trying to fleece each other. I heard that this draft, they were calling GMs the most ridiculous ever. They were calling, and in past, you're talking about a third, fourth, maybe an extra fourth next year. Teams are talking about multiple seconds, a first next year to move up 6 spots. So the chart was out the window this draft, and that's what a lot of people don't know. And especially with Washington and the trade with Philadelphia, it's all going to come down to how that kid does with Philadelphia, the kid from Iowa. There's a lot of question marks. Is he a safety? Is a cornerback? But to me, to get Sandstrill and Chestnut off of that trade, I think I don't see those guys busting at all. So I think that we got great compensation with that. And if you look around the league, I think teams just got fleeced. I think Washington, Philadelphia got really good value, but so did Washington. And that didn't happen this draft. Most teams got fleeced in trades.
All right, Ant.
Sorry, for clarification, did I just hear y'all say that y'all don't have a good wide receiver room?
Not a deep one.
It's not deep. Yeah, it's not deep at the Terry. You got Terry and Jahan. You waiting on Jahan to come to recover from his sophomore slump, and then you're counting on a rookie and McCaffrey to step in as a third because De'Ami Brown has been here for 3 years and he's giving you absolutely nothing. I have as many receptions as De'Ami Brown.
No, you don't. You actually still don't have as many. I just don't like how we move the goalposts. That's all I'm saying. And it happens to be guys that sit on this panel that frequently move the goalposts. I just watched Doc Walker and all of these guys sit on, whatever right receiver room. They're a bunch of dogs. They're gonna get after it, and then all of a sudden, now it's not deep. And I don't.
The wide receiver room has changed.
Promise. Stop cutting me off, Pick. Thank you so much. But I don't understand how you move the goalposts. Then we look on the flip side, and then all of this stuff is supposed to be this rookie kid who I don't give a crap how much experience he has in college. It's a whole nother ball game, buddy, when you step out there between them lines on Sunday. So how about we just watch him hopefully get through with the with the line that y'all have, because everybody else was Gregory Hines before this year. So that all that moving around and stuff, that's cool, but I think we're gonna see a lot of Philadelphia Randall Cunningham until y'all get some stability back there. I just don't understand where we get this stuff from all of a sudden, because it's a new year, and I don't want anybody to go into the season thinking you're gonna suck. Okay, that's not good for morale. But cut the cap here, okay, guys?
No, there's no cap.
That guy's gonna have to learn a system. As a quarterback, he's going to have to learn how to be a leader in an NFL locker room. Okay, it's good that you got a whole new regime there because that gives him the clean slate to do what he needs to do as a quarterback, right? But I don't care how he could have Pistol Pete Maravich as a quarterback. I don't give a crap. He's going to have to take his blows like everybody else, and he's going to do a lot more running. I don't trust that this guy's going to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball down the field consistently. It's just we don't see it. And who do we see it from? Who's one of the greatest quarterbacks of this time? Patrick Mahomes. And guess what? He didn't play right away. So I'm just saying, guys, I ain't saying y'all shouldn't, just batten down the hatches a little bit here.
Listen. Just like Metaphor said right here.
Lady
Just
A
like
get
Metaphor
good
said.
drunk
You
at
said
these
bad
games.
down the hatches.
Lady A get good and drunk at these games because it might get ugly.
I think
Hey.
I think Ant right about something. I think CJ Stroud did set the bar too far. And everybody's thinking CJ Stroud, the year he had last year, you can just find that. I mean, if you get Justin Fields over the next couple of years, you're doing better than what you had. So, but I think the expectation is for this guy because CJ Stroud has set the bar too far that I think that the expectations for the fans, the coaches, I think they're going to be able to see it, and the people who and Adam, they're going to be able to see it.
I got something for
But
Michael too.
I just think that there. But I mean, one question I did have for Adam too is, what's the biggest impact you're seeing from my man DQ? What's his biggest imprint on the team and on the practices that's different from the last regime?
I think just from everything I've heard, I think the players just are responding to his style more. I think when Ron Rivera first came in, I think players did respond to that, and it's a shame, the whole thing situation with cancer with him. But I've talked to a lot of people, and I asked the same question, that are around him, on a daily basis. Have you, of course, people don't want to go on the record, but have you noticed a noticeable change after his treatment? And everyone said, yeah. They said totally. And every way, the way he coached, the way he talked, the way he empathized with people, it just changed him. Quinn, I think we're getting a guy that we hope Ron Rivera was going to be at that point. But the thing with Quinn is, I think, the success that he's had in different positions. You talk about Atlanta. A lot of people want to say, well, he had Kyle Shanahan. Well, Kyle Shanahan really wasn't Kyle Shanahan until he got going through there. So I think that he showed me there that, he's a leader of men. He knows chemistry is a really hard thing to accomplish in the NFL. Yes. It's a lot easier to do in college because a lot of people just buy into it, no questions asked, as much as they do with the NFL. But I think with Quinn, the immediate impact will be the respect from players and just buying into what he's selling. Because I do take him and Witt, what they're saying as they're going to mold this team to their athletes. They're not going to force feed the system. And I think once or twice we might have heard from Ron Rivera and his regime, something like that, but I never bought it. With them, I truly do, because in Dallas, you could see it.
Well, the good thing is he got the poor man's Shanahan in Cliff Kingsbury. So I mean, he kind of got that. It's supposedly offensive guru, but he's not proving Cal is. But I think under Quinn, maybe it'll be different.
Lady A.
So, I mean, in reference to the offensive line, so we did make slight changes. How confident that's my first part of my question. How confident are you that this particular offensive line can actually protect Jaden?
At the moment, I have a lot of questions, but that's where, you can see if you look around the league over the years, good coaches really come in with subpar offensive lines. They found ways to move the ball through the run game. I think, a lot of people are questioning their head, including me, with, the Austin Eckler signing. But I think that they have a real plan with him and Robinson and, even the second-year kid from Kentucky in the backfield. So I think they, as much as we're talking about receivers, passing, tight ends, this and that, I think that they really do understand that they're going to have to dictate games on the ground. So I think that, that really helps an offensive line that's learning chemistry and learning to play together is, going straight forward. When you're asking them to just pass protect more than not, which is, which the last coach did. I still can't understand it. I really was, hoping to see more from that. But I think you're going to see more of that balance that we've heard about in the past, because I think that really just helps a young offensive line and a developing offensive line. But they're the reason I have them. I think 7-8 games would be a great season for them. I think they're going to float around that six win.
Okay, and then the second part of my question on the other side of the ball, we have a defensive coordinator who he has a reputation of actually being soft-spoken. But he comes over here and he's hype, and he's talking about playing violently and all kinds of stuff. How do you feel about that that change, or and his impact on our defensive scheme, because there have been times where I was ready to
This is the best I felt about the defensive coordinator's position in years, probably going back to maybe Greg Williams or around that time, because I just think with Jack Del Rio and all these guys, I think these are just the dinosaurs that were really force feeding the system. And I think you did see some gains, but I think that had to do with the players. They kept saying guys like Chase Young were freelancing and it just wasn't working. Well, I don't understand it, because when you draft a guy like Chase Young, you watch him, that's where he's at his best, and that's what he did. So it's like trying to pigeonhole these people, but everything you're hearing from these guys is, that they're going to take the best attributes and they're just going to attack. And why the pass regime couldn't use Jamin Davis, and like it took all these years for somebody to be like, hey, let's use him as a pass rusher, because Kentucky did it. He had some success with Kentucky. I think it was 6.5 sacks when he lined up on the edge his final year there. So it's like sometimes it just takes a boost, guys thinking outside the box, playing to their guys' strengths. But that's probably the level of confidence that I had. Like I said, even if we go 6 games, we win 6 games, I'll still feel confident going to the next year. In years past, that was definitely a failure. But I think we're going to see certain things come together. We'll see improvements on offense, defense. It won't be enough for fans. If that the fans are going to be riding, still talking about the name change. That's not going to stop. But it's going to. I think that these coaches, they're going to get it together. And I think you talk about a 2-3 year plan. I really see them being able to do that, with another draft or 2 and, another, 2 free agencies, because they still need a lot of players. That's what fans need to remember. As much as we're homers, everything, this team still needs a lot of key players. They do have, a couple marquee guys, but that's just not enough.
Yeah.
All right.
What you just said, Michael, they're obviously homers. I'm not. I'm a realist. I said
He's a Cowboys fan. You're not a realist. You're a Cowboys fan.
I said you guys were going to finish ahead of us in the division, and I'm speaking about the Dallas Cowboys when I say that. So I just want to look at your name, even though I know you're not on here, because I think I'm looking at you in your face when I say that. Yeah, you guys have been crap, and every year we get to hear we're going to do great, and I'm tired of hearing it. I want somebody to be real and say, hey, man, we might stink, but that's okay. And if we don't win as many games, but we play a little better, then I'll take that. If we get the better coaches in position, I'll be happy with that, because I just want people to be real about what you're going to see. Don't tell me you guys are going to win 10 games. I'll blow up.
Don't nobody believe that. Ted, you ready?
Whoa. What did Pick just say? Whoa.
Yeah, Pick said that. Yeah, Pick said that.
What you got, Ted?
Let me scroll back.
I know we should win, but are we going to win that?
That was
a lot of teams on here.
When we did predictions for teams, one person said 13-4, another person said 12-5. Well, I was the only realist here and said my team's gonna go 9-8. I was the only realist out of it.
Thank you. I know this, said you ain't gotta tell me nothing. I'm not gonna argue with these folks. They act like we're not watching these games. They act like we don't sit on this podcast.
You hater. Say it. Go ahead. Ask your question.
I think Pick is metaphor, by the way. We never seen them go at the same time.
We saw metaphor. We had them both on the show at the same time.
Adam has he's answered a majority of the questions. There's not many questions that he has not answered that I need information about. Offensive line, defensive line, running back, tight ends, wide receiver. He just gets it all. So at this point, it's fixing offensive line and ensuring the offensive coordinator is working to the attributes of the quarterback and not trying. I'm gonna call this play. You run no matter what. Yeah. He can do that, but he'll do better if you run what he does better.
Yeah. I'll say this: if Witt Jr. can turn Forbes into a top 20 something cornerback this year, that guy's leaving next year, and he's going to get a defensive coordinator. He's going to get a higher up job somewhere else.
Yeah, because he if somebody makes that young man eat food and actually tackle, then they deserve whatever they can get.
Don't forget, Darryl Green said he can fix him. And how fast?
But they ain't let Darryl Green fix him, so that's where we are right now.
But now we talk about a defensive coordinator. No, it's not, man. Think last year. It's
No,
not that because the last year,
but they ain't
his
let him,
secondary
so it don't
coach,
matter.
his last Adam, can you please tell him last year's secondary coach was not qualified to be in the NFL?
Well, he was a high school, wasn't he? From what I remember, he was coaching high school. They picked him up. Granted, I know a lot of guys have done it at the end of their career, but this guy, nobody, no colleges want him. No Division II, Division III. Right. This was it was a friendship hire, and in the NFL. And again, I know a couple guys on the team were furious because they knew people. They were given recommendations prior to that signing of guys that had good track records. So it wasn't just like, okay, guy was in high school. It was all the people that they overlooked. And I think now they got a guy who I think he did wonders in Dallas with some of those defensive backs. So I'm excited.
Pick what I'm saying is it's easy for guys like Darryl Green to say stuff like that, but dude, a large part of what you were was just pure it factor. You can't teach that stuff. Just because this guy is fast doesn't mean that you can teach him how to emulate what you did. I'm sorry. Travis Hunter was already Travis Hunter. You can't make me believe that Deion has taught him anything that's going to make him that much greater than he already was. The dude was already a top-tier recruit as a receiver.
He's a hype man. He's his hype man. That's basically.
I do think he has something up here that can translate, but you can't teach what Deion was.
It's not but it's not.
You'll have an argument. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, it is not you changing that person and making them better than they are. It's the fine little things like your foot placement, your attention to detail. That's what makes the difference between a good corner and a great corner is the film study and knowing when this dude plants his foot this way, he's running a 9 route. When he plants his foot this way, he's running an out. Right? It's those little fine details that coaching, because we always say coaching matters, that the great coaches get that extra out of you. So I'm not saying that Deion is going to make Travis Hunter better, but you best believe his next coach at the next level is going to make him better if he has the right coach. And that's why Darryl Green said he could fix this man in like 10 minutes because now he's going to have a great coach to work with those details and correct the flaws and deficiencies that he have. And I think that
So a guy that played DB 30 years ago is the only person capable of telling this guy about foot placement and hand technique. You cut it out, dude. If these guys couldn't teach him that, just throw away the NFL defensive back.
He did not have a qualified coach. He has a qualified coach this year.
Yeah, they said they weren't. One thing that I kept hearing, they were asking, they weren't teaching him a thing. Like none of the young DBs were learning, and that's why I told everyone people are giving up on Forbes. I think Forbes at worst is going to be a middle of the pack kind of guy. At best, I think he's a surprise.
I like this film for sure.
So, but here's my thing. Here's my issue. Let's not forget y'all remember what my main complaint about Heineke was. He's a very intelligent quarterback. He has a lot of heart. But physically speaking, he was short. I'm sorry, say it. I'm so sorry. Just cover your ears. He was short. And his arm wasn't as strong as even Carson. So even though he had the knowledge and the drive to do these things, physically speaking, sometimes it just ain't for you. I feel like at this moment, Forbes, if Darryl works with him, great. That's a great role model, great mentor. He can teach him a lot of things. I don't doubt that. However, right now, what I'm seeing is that when Forbes goes to try to tackle people, right, they drag him along with him. Okay, let's go. You're going together. Physically speaking, he cannot stop the people that he's trying to stop. Like that's a problem. So at the end of the day, sometimes it's just not for you. And I'm not trying to, no shade to this young man. I mean, he made it to the NFL. That is definitely, that's something, more power to him. But will he be able to do all that we expect him to do in that position? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe like I said, maybe he needs some food.
He got paid to get interceptions.
Yeah, and that's what I need him to do.
Because you can't intercept the ball.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He ain't been intercepting
on that tush of yours.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's get to the real question here. So earlier today, Brandon and I formally asked for requested a trade.
Mhm.
You guys have been asking about this in the chat. Adam, do you see this even happening?
It's the Debo Samuel situation all over again, really, with them. It's just that they're coming out. They reported today that multiple teams called them and were all told no. So it's not even that they're in talks yet. Of course, that could change if it gets, if Ayuk's camp gets a little more forceful. But right now, I just think it's a disgruntled receiver right now. They're not willing to, meet his demands. And yeah, I just think that they're going to let this play out because they're really, if you look at their roster, look at their, their contracts, they don't have a big window right now. Granted, they got a young undrafted quarterback, 49ers, okay. But, really their shot is like a 2-3 year window right now with the contracts that they have and the money that's going to come and due. So they need this to work. I know that they probably don't think that, that they're going to get much more, but, they can play him this year and then franchise him again. So they can keep him for 2 years and not do a thing. The question is, will they? But I think a team would have to come in and blow them away. I think it's going to take a team offering a first round for them to even answer the phone at this point.
That's what I was going to say.
Is he overplaying his hand because he's not thinking?
No,
he's thinking short-sighted. He's thinking short-sighted, right? And the reason I say that is because of this. The NFL is about to renew their TV deal, which means the cap is going to go up a ton. So shouldn't he just be quiet right now and not ask for a deal?
His value is huge, though, right now. That's what you got to understand. He's in the conversation with a lot as a top 10 guy ahead of McLaurin. So look what McLaurin got. So you got to look. That's what he's looking at his camp. Granted, they want to look down the line. But again, like I said, they can franchise him next year and he still won't get the bag. So I think that he's really trying to do what he can. And, hopefully they ended up paying Debo. But I think that his camp knows they're not going to pay both of them. So they're going to push. But I don't think a team's going to give him what they want because you got to give him a first round and you got to pay him the big money. And I don't think there's really going to be anyone that's going to do that.
I have a question. If you're at a job and you feel like they're not paying you what you're worth,
try
you
that.
just going to sit there and be quiet, or you going to go look for another job?
You can,
look for another job for sure.
All right.
He's just in an unfortunate situation. He's the best receiver on that team, but he's not the most valuable.
Right, and it's also the scheme. He knows in that scheme, he goes elsewhere, he can be a featured weapon. He'll never be the featured guy there.
Right.
But he's putting up featured numbers.
Right.
And that's his problem.
But they got the money.
You're right. And he's watching guys in his draft class get paid 30, 25, 30 million dollars a year. And he's like, I got their numbers, show me the money. But like you said, he's in a scheme, he's in a place that's not going to pay. They can't afford it. They got too many big contracts, McCaffrey, the Bosa.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking advantage of not paying the quarterback, but all their money's tied up.
But how much longer do they got on that even?
It's the last year. It's the last year on that.
And let me slide back through that again because if you watch the show Receiver,
really?
The reason I'm gonna say this again because Shanahan says it himself. He said with Debo on the field, you're not gonna get double, you're gonna be open, we're gonna throw you ball. Those words come out of Shanahan's mouth during the show. So they already know with Debo on the field, Debo was getting a double, Ayuk is running wide open.
Right.
And he has to realize that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still can't negate the fact that he still deserves to get paid, right?
I'm not negating his number.
No, and I know you're not saying that. I know you're not saying that.
I'm not negating his money. But what I'm saying is, does he get those yards being doubled every game the way Debo is being doubled every game? Does he get those yards?
We see other elite receivers do it. The thing with Washington is you absolutely will have to hamstring yourself to sign him. I think he's a guy that it would be great to have, but he's not a need. There are other areas that are much more important for the Washington Commanders to address than getting a shiny new toy. You get what I'm saying? In him. Now, does he make you more explosive? Yes, but then once again, you could have 4 top 10 receivers. If you can't get them the ball because the quarterback is too busy looking other places or they can't block, it doesn't matter. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So Michael, you know, I'll be real.
And why would
somebody to pick on?
And why would he want to come here though? That's the question.
Because his best friend, Jaden Daniels, he's been all over it.
Yeah.
You know, on social media, he's putting even Jaden Daniels' camp tape up.
Really?
He's not supposed to be sharing.
Okay. I'm about to say, why would he want to come to a rookie quarterback where he's? I mean, but like I said, if he's a Jaden Daniels fan, then but like I said, by all means, let me step away.
I think there's definitely an issue with Purdy too. I don't think that it's a personal issue. I just think that he's not sold on him as a franchise quarterback. It's not the first. A lot of people I know in San Francisco, and they're like, the national quote is, "Yeah, Purdy's the guy and everything," but a lot of fans, a lot of people, they're not sold on him. And I think that someone like Ayuk, he'll get opportunities in the Shanahan offense, but it's like, I think that with the opportunity to try to push it so he can play with a guy that he knows very well, I understand why he's doing it, but it's not going to happen.
We're functional in that position, so I feel like that's silly to keep on going.
It's a lot of money in one spot.
Yeah, last round of questions before we get out of here. Sid, you got anything?
Nope. Lady A?
No, I think I've asked all of my questions.
All right, Ant?
I don't got no questions. I always got something to say, but I don't got no questions.
No questions. Just got comments. All right, Al?
I'm making a consensus, man. I'm good to go. Adam's been great, man. Good to go, man.
Adam, man, again, Adam, thank you for always being available to us. You come through, you drop knowledge, and we got to have you back soon. Again, happy birthday. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, happy. Can't be. Mine is Friday, Adam. So, man, Ants was Saturday. Mine's Friday, man. You're in a good month.
Me? I was last month.
And you're a Cancer. You were like late June, right?
Yep.
So
it's a
we
Cancer.
all right there together. We all grouped together. That means we're all good people.
I think Michael Underwood might actually be Paulie.
You said what now?
Oh God! No! Don't even say it again. Don't say it again.
Okay.
Good night. God.
But I just want to say I appreciate you guys always having me on.
Say good night.
I lost my wife about 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So I really appreciate you guys having me. It's kind of helped me tonight. Just take it off my mind because it's like a bittersweet. It's like my birthday, but 24 years, without the same person. So
yeah,
it's been an experience for me. But thanks for having me on, and I always love chopping up with you guys.
Much love.
We love having you.
Much
we
love,
love having you.
man.
We'll always reach out
bless,
to you.
man.
We really do appreciate it, man.
And
Thank
in
you,
your
Adam.
market, not that it has anything to do with anything, you are one of the guys that I highly respect your opinion and your insight, more than a lot of guys who come on here. If you say 6 or 7 wins, I actually I could see it making sense.
If you called me 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been talking like that. It's just experience and chatting with Doc Walker and, coming down to earth sometimes and, reaching out to other people. But I think, for once, it's like you see change, but the change is not really going to be with the winning. It's just going to be with everything else. And that's what we got to look for as fans right now.
Right.
There we go. All right, Sid, did we cover everything?
Yes, we did.
Fine. Oh, again, thank you to Julius Chestnut for joining us and Adam from the Burgundy and Gold Report. If you guys do not follow Adam, the Burgundy and Gold Report, go to X and subscribe to him. Follow him. He drops great knowledge, and that's why we have Adam on, because he brings some really good things. All right, Sid. Shouts out to my son, United States Air Force. First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Tell him, Sid.
No dogs.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Hail.
Ready for your beats? All right, from the person.